Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson.
20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis.
Oh, my God.
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Welcome back to another episode here at the Ian Fritts Show. It's a big day. It's a big week. Yesterday was a hoot. It was a fun day of college football in week 6, and I just want to open with some thanks for everybody watching. I appreciate it. I like that you're watching. I'm having a good time. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. But we've got a lot to get to. I've got the show up there. You guys know how it works by now. Lay it out, and then we'll get into what I want to talk about over here. So we're going to jump right into OU Texas, Red River Rivalry. Some of you were coming at me in the comments about the Red River Shootout, Red River Showdown. It's the Red River Rivalry to me, okay? That's what I grew up saying. That's how I'm going to say it, and we're gonna move on. It's the Red River Rivalry. Say that 5 times fast. You can't. Okay, first thing I want to talk about in the game really has nothing to do with the game at all, okay? It was on ABC. They had it on ESPN too if you wanted to watch the old Pat McAfee. But on the ESPN, on the main broadcast on ABC over there, what are we doing, ABC? How can you not broadcast one of the biggest games all year? All year you've got to do is just broadcast these things correctly. That's all you got to do. You got to make sure the viewers can view the game. Is it that difficult? Is it that difficult, guys? How can we not get one of the biggest games in all of college football broadcast correctly? I'm sitting there watching the game. Next thing I know, we go from 3rd and 10 to OU has the ball. How did OU get the ball? I don't know. Because I missed it. Because there was a lag and poof, I jumped 3 plays ahead. You can't be doing this, ABC, Disney, ESPN. I don't know who runs this company. I don't know what's going on down there. But you got to focus up and you got to broadcast the game correctly so the viewers, so the people like us, people that do this, can watch the game and tell other people what they saw. You got to be better, ABC. You got to be better. There were parts of the game where it went up into a right-hand corner. A quarter of my screen is the game, but the rest of it's this weird black and green pixelated mess. What are we doing, ABC? How can you not broadcast the game correctly? You guys got to get that fixed for next weekend. Whatever games you guys are doing, it needs to be better. And it was a shame that it happened in one of the biggest games in all college football and one of the biggest rivalries. It was a shame that you guys couldn't get that correct and get that ironed out. Mess. It was happening the entire game. Horrible stuff from ABC. Pitiful. Ugh. It was gross. All right. Let's get into the actual game now that I'm done with ABC. But everybody needs to come at ABC because it was bad. All right. This game was wild. If you guys watched it, most of you probably did. This game, well, I couldn't even think straight in the first 6 minutes of this game with everything that was happening. First 6 minutes, we had Texas gets the ball. They throw a play, gets stuffed. Next play, Quinn Ewers throws it right to OU's DB. Right at it. Boom. OU's DB catches it. Interception. OU scores because they only have to go 20 yards. Gets a touchdown. Next drive, Texas driving down the field. They get stopped. They have to punt. No, they don't punt. They do a fake punt. Pick it up. Texas driving again. They keep going. Oh, boom. OU stops them about at the 30-yard line. Texas, what are they going to do? They're going to punt? They're going to kick a field goal? No. They're going to go for it. They're going to go for it. What happens when they go for it? Boom. Running back pass over the middle. OU trying to knock that ball out. Do they get it out? The jury's still out. Ruled on the field as a fumble. Reviewed it as not a fumble. Tough to say. It was really close. I'm fine with either call. Anyways, Texas 2 for 2 on 4th down in that drive. They're driving. Boom, they get into the red zone. Quinn Ewers throws the ball over the middle. Jatavian Sanders. Looks like a touchdown. I'm sitting on my couch. Oh, Texas is about to tie the game up. No, Texas is not about to tie the game up. Because Billy Bowman, strong safety for OU, comes across the middle. Kaboom! Absolutely destroys Jatavian Sanders. This ball pops up in the air. Tip drill. Ho, ho, ho. Kendall Dolby. OUDB. Interception. Wow, what is happening? He runs about 8 yards, gets OU to about the 7. This was wild. We've barely been 3 minutes into the game and all this is happening. Absurd. What happens on the next drive? OU probably just goes down the field, maybe kicks a field goal, maybe gets a touchdown, maybe it's just a punt, 3 and out. Who knows? Well, it was going to be just a 3 and out. And then OU's out there punting. The punter back there, Josh Plaster, tough game from old Joshy, okay? His first half punts, he averaged 13 yards. If you're a punter, you don't want to be averaging 13 yards. Anyways, he's back there. He's taking all day to punt this ball. What happens when he takes all day to punt a ball? You get it blocked. Texas blocks the punt for a touchdown. Wow. 6 minutes into this game, we've got all of this happening. Absolutely crazy. Let me just read you the first half drives for this game, okay? Here we go. We've got interception, touchdown, interception, punt, touchdown, punt, punt, field goal, touchdown, touchdown, field goal, field goal. Wow! This game was on something in the first half. This game was back and forth. What is happening? Nobody knew. I didn't know. Nobody knew. But I'll tell you this much right now. The Red River Rivalry never lets down. It never disappoints. Last year aside, it never disappoints. You never know what's happening in this game. It's always one of the best games in all college football, one of the best rivalries. You get everything you want in this game and more, unless ABC isn't allowed to show it to you somehow. Some thoughts from the game, some storylines in the game. OU defensive line. They were balling out in this game. First half, let's just get a little bit into this in the first half here. OU was getting after the quarterback. And I said in the preview show, the team that gets after the quarterback the best is going to win this game. Did OU do that? They did. They won the game. They got after the quarterback better. In the first half alone, had 3 sacks on Quinn Ewers. But they had a lot more pressures. Quinn Ewers was never comfortable in the pocket in the entire game. He was always, am I going to get hit? Am I going to get hurried? And he got hurried, and he made some plays too. Credit to Quinn Ewers. He should have been sacked about 12 times in this game, to be honest with you. But he wasn't. Total of 5 sacks for OU, 3 in the first half. OU also forced 3 turnovers in this game. However, OU's got to be a little bit better about capitalizing on their forced turnovers, okay? A net gain of 0 points off of those forced turnovers for OU. So you have that first one. Obviously, they turned it into a touchdown. The second one turned into a touchdown for Texas. So 7 minus 7, there's 0. And then the third one, the fumble on Quinn Ewers, they went 3 and out, punt. A net gain of 0 points from OU's forced 3 turnovers. However, they still forced 3 turnovers. You always want to win the turnover battle, and OU did that. They were making plays on defense. This was the defense Brent Venables was brought in to do. This right here, this game, getting after the quarterback, forcing turnovers, chaos. It was what Brent Venables was brought here to do. Brought here to do this, and they did it in the biggest game of the year so far for OU. Get the biggest win of the year for any team in college football, and they did it. We'll get into it. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. There was a drive early in the fourth quarter. OU's winning. Texas driving down the field. Texas gets the ball to the 1-yard line. First and goal at the 1. I'm thinking to myself, okay, Texas is going to tie this game up. We've got a game on our hands. We indeed did have a game on our hands, but it's not because Texas tied it up right there. They try to run it up the middle. They bring in their 2 big defensive tackles. Try to run it up. They should have brought in some fullbacks, maybe some guys that know offense. I don't know. Because those guys didn't block anybody on these couple plays. They didn't block anybody. They just let people run by them. I don't know what they were doing, but OU stopped Texas on the 1-yard line 4 straight plays. They were a brick wall back there. A brick wall on the 1-yard line. A brick wall. Couldn't get through them. Texas brought in their biggest boys on the team, and the biggest boys on the team couldn't block anybody. OU stuffed them right there on the goal line. Very impressive stuff. A Lincoln Riley team's not doing that. We'll get into Lincoln Riley a little bit later. Lincoln Riley team's not doing that. Brent Venables was brought here to do stuff like that. He was brought here to make goal line stands against a very good Texas team, and he did it. And that's honestly one of the most impressive things from this game. A year after being 49-0, you make a goal line stand like that in a huge game against a very good Texas offense. It's impressive stuff. BV, credit to you. Very good stuff from Brent Venables. I also mentioned the run games in the preview show. Whoever runs the ball better normally wins this game. What happened? The team that ran the ball better won the game. Now, OU held Texas to 157 yards on the ground, while OU rushed for over 200. Now, it wasn't the rushing attack that OU probably wanted to get going with their running backs, because Dylan Gabriel got a lot of this scrambling, and there were also some design QB runs. However, a lot of this was Dylan Gabriel getting out of the pocket and scrambling for 15, 8-yard gains, whatever it was. DG ended up getting 113 with on the ground with his legs. It was impressive. All in all, OU out-physical Texas. They out-physical Texas out what Texas was supposed to be better at going into this game. The narrative was Texas manhandled Alabama down in Tuscaloosa, so they're going to manhandle OU down in Dallas. Did they? No, they didn't. OU manhandled Texas. 5 sacks to 1 sack. Outrushed them. They won in the trenches. And Brent Venables has this team turned around in only 2 years. It's impressive stuff. It's impressive stuff from the OU defense. However, as much praise as OU's defense gets in this game, and they deserve a ton for how they played. They played their tails off in this game. OU won this game because of Dillon Gabriel. OU won this game because of Dillon Gabriel. He led the team in rushing, 113 yards on the ground. He threw it for 285 in the air. The game-winning drive. If you watch this game, OU's down 3, a minute left in the game. Texas just kicked a field goal. They've got to go 75 yards to get a touchdown. Their kicker has missed a field goal, so they're probably not feeling too good about Zach Schmidt making a field goal right now. So they're thinking touchdown. They're thinking touchdown to go win this game instead of a tie. You got a minute left. OU down 3. Biggest stage of his career. Dillon Gabriel. Biggest stage of his career. One of the biggest stages in all of college football. You could argue that this is the biggest stage in the regular season for any player in the season. OU, Red River Rivalry versus Texas. Go lead a game-winning drive with a minute left when the crowd's going wild. You could argue that's the biggest stage in the regular season for any team ever. During the regular season. You could argue that. That, the big game, Iron Bowl, those are probably the top 3 biggest stages. And Dillon Gabriel hasn't really done well in the big games. He hasn't really had a game like this, a huge game like this. People saying he can't get it done. He's never done it. You can't do that. You can't get it done like that. And this man went out there while he could have peed all over himself, could have peed right down his leg like a little scared little dog, scared little cat. And he didn't. The man balled out on his game-winning drive. Biggest moment of his career. Biggest moment in his life. This man had one of the best drives of his life. The best drive of his life. 4 for 4, 58 yards, game-winning touchdown pass. And if you guys watch this game-winning touchdown pass, credit to the OU offensive line. Texas came with an all-out blitz. Dillon Gabriel sitting in the pocket. The pocket is, if you watch this video, the pocket is collapsed. It's like a circle just getting choked up on him. I mean, it is swallowing him whole. He ducks. He actually ducks in the pocket, then pops right back up like a groundhog, a hedgehog, whatever animals are. Boom. Up and down. Up and down. He went down. He popped back up like a hedgehog. His left tackle, Walter Rouse. Shout out to you, Walter. This man blocked 2 dudes. 1 arm. He had 1 arm in the chest of 2 Texas defensive players. If it wasn't for him, DG's getting sacked and he's not making this throw to Nick Anderson. Shout out. Game-winning touchdown catch. Dillon Gabriel. You can't deny it, guys. He balled out. You can't deny OU's a great team now. Dillon Gabriel, we have a gift for you here at the Ian Fritts Show. Now, some people weren't saying that you deserved it for what you did yesterday. But you did. I'm not listening to them. I make the decisions around here at the Ian Fritts Show. We have other people, but I make the decisions. I get to decide who's a certified stud muffin. And you, sir, Dillon Gabriel, earn the right to be the 4th certified stud muffin of the 2023 season. 4th in history. It's a big moment for you. Everybody give him a round of applause. Dillon Gabriel, 4th certified stud muffin. Dude balled out. Game-winning drive. Biggest moment of his career. He absolutely deserves to become a certified stud muffin. And he is. Let's give a round of applause for Dillon Gabriel. Okay. Now, Dillon Gabriel, you don't just deserve to be a certified stud muffin. You deserve to be in the Heisman conversation. If you weren't already, I didn't hear your name nationally. Now, I wasn't talking about you nationally, but I haven't mentioned the Heisman conversation, really, except for Caleb Williams. And that guy's he's a different breed, to be honest with you. But you deserve to be in it, DG, Dillon Gabriel. You deserve to be in the conversation. You just won the biggest game of the year for any team. You led a game-winning drive. You've been balling out all year. Your numbers are off the charts. You have the best win of the season from any team. This man, right now, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams, Dillon Gabriel. Those are the 3 that deserve to be in the conversation. Maybe Bo Nix is sneaking up there a little bit. But those right now are the 3 that deserve this conversation. And frankly, I don't think we can We'll get into Heisman a little bit later in the year. But right now, those are the three. Dillon Gabriel, absolutely in the conversation. Now, OU, what does this mean for you guys? This means you guys are in the conversation for college football playoff and the best team in the country. Now, a lot of conversation was happening around Texas going into this game. Is Texas the best team in the country? I had them ranked number 1 in the what if poll. I did. I thought they were the best team in the country going into this game. They'd shown it to us. Now, if you beat the best team in the country in the most neutral site game of all time, half the stadium's Texas burnt orange. Side note, why would you want your colors to be burnt? Okay. Half of it burnt orange, half of it crimson. Neutral site as it gets in between the two stadiums. I mean, you can't get more neutral site. And if you go beat the best team in the country, don't you deserve to be in the conversation for best team in the country? You absolutely do. That's where OU is after this game. This was a huge day for OU. Oklahoma football to the moon right now. They're balling out. They get a rest week this week, coming off the best win of the year by any team. OU squarely in the college football playoff conversation and squarely in the best team in the country conversation. Thank you guys for listening to the OU Texas breakdown. Let's get into Alabama A&M. Got to take a sip. I'm thirsty. We're still sticking with the straws. Now, I like to create an environment here at the Ian Fritts Show where I talk to my viewers. We have conversations in person. Just a couple days ago, I was talking to some of you guys. You guys were talking to me about this straw. Why do I like straws so much? How can I talk about straws so much on this show? Well, I can and I will. Maybe we'll be sponsored by straws here in the future. I don't know. But revolutionary product really is. It gives me about a few inches. I don't have to go further down to get my water. Great invention. Pretty awesome. Revolutionary, some would say. I do say. All right, let's get into Alabama A&M. Enough straw talk. But if you guys run a straw company, holler at me. We'll get a promo code. All right, Alabama A&M. This was a weird game. Watched all of it. This was definitely a tale of two halves. If you watched the game with me, tale of two halves. A&M defense was running around Alabama in the first half. They were swarming all over them like a swarm of bees, getting their honey, or maybe they're ganging up on a bug to eat or something. That's what the A&M defensive line was like in the first half. 4 first half sacks for A&M. Them boys were eating. Jalen Milroe couldn't do anything in the run offense, in the rush offense. Alabama had about 12 yards rushing in the first half. Now, they hit some big plays in the passing game, but they couldn't really get anything going. No consistency on offense because of the A&M defense. They were swarming, 4 sacks, just like I said. A&M looked like the better team in the first half. Now, I just said it was a tale of two halves. Flip over the page. In this case, it's a slide of the page. Let's talk about the second half. Now, I don't know what happened at halftime. I don't know if Nick Saban he gave the greatest halftime speech of all time to the defense for Alabama and the offense for Alabama. But whatever he said to them, who said in that locker room worked. And I don't know what Jimbo Fisher was telling A&M. He's like, the game's over, we won. I don't know what they were saying, but they came out sluggish. Alabama came out like they really wanted to win the game. And that's what they did. Down 17-10 at halftime. Alabama came out there, looked like the better team in the second half. They looked like the much better team in the second half. Let me read you these drives from A&M in the second half. Let me read you this. Interception, punt, blocked field goal, safety, field goal. Now, if you do the math on that, they lost. They only made up 1 point. They let on a safety, -2, +3 from the field goal. A net gain offensively of 1 point. What are we doing, A&M? I don't know. I don't know what I watched in that second half, but it wasn't the first half. A&M defensive line stepped up big time. A&M offensive line stepped up big time. A&M offensive line was getting beat up in the first half, and they turned it around. They did something mentally. Be like, hey, we're better than these dudes on A&M. We're better than those dudes up there. Let's play some football, and let's take it to A&M. Let's win this game. And they did. They did exactly that. Alabama defense was cruising around like Caleb Downs, making plays. Defensive backs making plays. There was nowhere to throw the football for Max Johnson in the second half. The defensive line for Alabama, those defensive tackles, those defensive ends were swarming him in the second half. 4 sacks. Alabama looked like the much better team in the second half. Tail of two halves. A&M looked better first half. Alabama made a lot of adjustments. A&M looked sluggish. Alabama made them look like a child's team in the second half. Very impressive from from Alabama in the second half. Now, Jalen Milroe, I think this was the best game of his career. This man was getting beat up in the first half. Now, he made some big throws, but there was no rhythm offensively. He made some big throws, but no rhythm. There was a lot of rhythm. There was rhythm in the second half. He wasn't dinking and dunking, but he was throwing over the middle. He was throwing 15-yard passes. He was throwing 8-yard passes. He was throwing it deep, which I think is what he does best. And he ended the game 21-31, 320 yards and 3 touchdowns. Also had a pick. Didn't really come into play, though. This was the best game of his career. He sat in there in a tough environment. Kyle Field, not an easy place to play. Best game of Jalen Milroe's career. He deserves credit, and Alabama defense deserves credit. So kudos to Alabama. They looked good. Now, if they get that offense rolling, Milroe looks more comfortable. Alabama's looking more comfortable. If they get that offense going, that defense is for real. That defense is balling out. They're making adjustments coming out of halftime. It's scary what that defense is going to do the rest of the year. It's scary. Alabama's in every game because of their defense. They are. If Jalen Milroe continues to do what he did yesterday, it's going to be Alabama SEC champs. Don't want to say that right now. Don't quote me on that. Now, I do want to talk about that safety that happened in this game. If you follow me on Twitter, I was talking about it. I was trying to get officiating crews, SEC officiating. The guys didn't respond to me. Gene Steratore didn't respond to me. Nobody's responded to me. Kind of rude, to be honest with you. I want to get to the bottom of this safety because I'll put the clip up here and we'll have it on a loop. If I can figure out how to do that, we'll put it on a loop. They called the safety because of intentional grounding in the end zone. Now, his knee wasn't down. He was in the air, clearly not down. He's fallen to the ground sideways, throws the ball before he hits the ground, and this ball's in the air, okay? So if I'm in the pocket and I throw it and it gets tipped and hits the ball nowhere near a running back or anything, right? That's not going to be called intentional grounding because it was tipped. Have you ever seen the officials do this? Tipped. Everything once that ball gets tipped goes out the window. So holding, defensive pass interference, all of that gets thrown out if the ball gets tipped. No longer a penalty. And I think the same thing is true for intentional grounding. It can't be intentional grounding if the ball gets tipped. And in my opinion, that's what we have here. It's a little tough to see in the video, but that's the best angle I could get online. Max Johnson's diving, getting tackled. He throws it. And the first guy to touch the ball in the air, tip it, if you will, is an Alabama defensive lineman. Hits his arm, hits his forearm area, and shoots back into the end zone and hits the ground. Now, incomplete pass, obviously, but the officials called it an intentional grounding, which I don't think it should be because it hit the Alabama defensive line guy in the air. So I think it should just be an incomplete pass because of that, because it was technically a tip. Now, if any of you guys out there know that I'm wrong, please let me know. But I would love to know the reasoning by why that isn't true and why this was still a safety. I didn't hear anybody on the broadcast talking about this ball being tipped. I didn't hear any of that. Nobody brought it up. Nobody's responded to me. I want to get to the bottom of this because I don't actually think it should be a safety. Now, do I think it would have changed the game at all? It probably would have changed it. I still think Alabama wins. But it was a pivotal moment in the game. And I don't think it should have been a safety. I don't think it was intentional grounding. So I want to know why. If you guys know why, let me know. But just wanted to throw that out there. I don't think this should have been intentional grounding for a safety. Okay? All right, got to take a sip. We're going to get into the picks recap. Now, I know you're thinking maybe, Ian, it's a little bit early for the picks. It's not. Let's get into the picks recap for you guys. Got to pull it up here. Got to pull it up. All right, we got it. We got it pulled up. Okay, I'm just going to go through. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of these games because I want to talk about them. All right, Georgia, Kentucky. We lost this one. I thought Kentucky would cover this spread, 14.5. This was... We had some bad beats yesterday. I'll put the record up there. We were 7-8 yesterday. Losing record, second one of the year. Not good. Not good. We had some bad breaks. We had some bad picks, though. Okay? This was a bad pick. Georgia was playing like the best team in the country yesterday. They were. They made Kentucky look like a bunch of children out there. Kentucky, I saw this stat, had one pressure on Carson Beck the entire game. One pressure on the QB the entire game. One. Now, you're not going to go into a hostile environment in Athens and get one pressure on a quarterback and win a game. You can't do that. That's not how the world works. That's not how college football works. It's not going to work. It didn't work. You made me lose. So thank you, Kentucky. You guys suck. All right. Michigan, Minnesota, we were all over this one. Michigan looks like the best team in the country. Now, I just said that for Georgia. Now, I think there's an argument for about 4 best teams in the country right now. Michigan smoked the 19.5. Good for us. Texas, OU, just talked about it. We picked Texas. Bad pick. Ohio State, Maryland, we were all over this one. Now, Ohio State made it a little closer than I wanted, but we still won. Florida State, Virginia Tech. Now, some people are saying Florida State, that wasn't a fart, by the way. That was just me sliding down the seat. So if you heard that little squeak, that was no fart. I'd be honest if it was a fart. Okay, I'm not ashamed. Florida State, Virginia Tech, minus 24. We were correct here. Thought Virginia Tech would cover. They did. Good for us. USC, Arizona. Now, here's what I want to talk about. Got to take a sip real quick. Okay. USC. What are we doing, guys? Arizona, 3 overtimes? What are we doing? You can't be doing this, but we were all over this. We thought Arizona would cover. Now, I didn't watch this game because I was exhausted. However, I do know about the overtime rules, okay? And 3 overtimes. NCAA. Just talking to you, me and you real quick. We've got to change the overtime rules in college. It's bad. It's bad. We're taking out an entire part of the game. We're just getting rid of the football game, and we just want to see who's better at these weird little trick plays on the goal line. That's what the overtime is right now in college football. Who's better at this little 2-yard play where we have 18 guys over here and a center and a quarterback and nobody's there? What are we doing? Make them go 25 yards and get in the end zone. Don't put them a yard away. It's ridiculous. The overtime rules in college used to be the best. It was exciting. It was fun. Everybody was having a great time. And then you guys change the rules and make everybody sad. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm angry at you, NCAA. You guys can't do anything correct. What are we doing with these overtime rules? Get rid of them. Change them back to the old ways. That was fun. That was great for college football. You're taking away a whole part of the game and going to this little gimmick on the goal line. It's sad. Be better, NCAA. Change the overtime rules. Let's move on. Notre Dame, Louisville. You guys manhandled Notre Dame yesterday. Congratulations. Very impressive win for you guys. I'm sorry I picked Notre Dame. I feel like you guys were maybe a little butthurt that I picked Notre Dame. And you should have been because I was wrong. I was way off. A very incorrect pick for me. I'm sorry. Forgive me, guys. Alabama A&M. We were also wrong on this one. It wasn't a great day for me picking yesterday. It was not great. Washington State, UCLA. We were wrong on this one. Now, I gave you guys that stat. The unranked team that's favored goes and plays the team that's ranked. The unranked team that's favored wins about 80% of the time. And I said, you know what? This isn't one of those times. Washington State wins this game. Well, I should have gone with history, okay? I was incorrect. Go with history. North Carolina, Syracuse, 8.5. North Carolina, wow. You guys were on fire yesterday. Beat them by about 1 billion. Oregon State, Cal. The Beavers are beavering. They look good. Ole Miss, Arkansas. We were wrong on the spread. Ole Miss won, but by 7, I think. I'm not that impressed from Ole Miss right now, but we'll see. Miami, Georgia Tech. Here's one. Here's a fun one to talk about. We've got a lot of little fun nuggets to talk about. Georgia Tech won this football game. If you saw this game, you're thinking, yeah, I know Georgia Tech won this game. But if you went to bed and you woke up and you're like, what? I thought Miami was driving. They just needed to take a couple knees and they win the game. Right? Right, Ian? Yes, you would be correct. You would be correct, sir, ma'am, whoever you are. All Miami needed to do was take a knee. You take a knee, you win the game, nobody's talking about you. However, this goes down as one of the worst ways to lose, quite possibly the worst way to lose of all time. You literally lost the game because you didn't knee. Take a knee. Come on, guys. Now, they decided to hand it off for whatever reason, whatever boneheaded reason. Georgia Tech stripped the ball. 2 plays later, touchdown. They win the game. But when in doubt, if you're winning, take a knee. Drain as much time as you can. Don't try to run the ball. What are we doing? Missouri, LSU. Now, this was a bad break. LSU pick 6 to cover right at time. Really sad. Really tough for us, guys. Yeah. Fresno State, Wyoming. Wyoming looks pretty good, guys. I doubted them. Shouldn't have doubted them, but they look pretty good. Those are the picks. 7 and 8 yesterday. Not great. We're still pretty good overall. 51 and 43.5. I'm pretty happy with that record so far through the first 6 weeks, guys. But those are the picks yesterday. A little fun nuggets. Overtime rules need to be changed. Miami should have knelt down. Kentucky sucked. That's it. All right, we'll get into the fan favorite segment here, the What If poll. This is my favorite segment of the show, and we'll get into it. A little different graphic over here. I'm going with a different look this week. I think it'll look a little better. We'll see. Let me know in the comments. Got to take a sip before I get into this, though. All right, What If poll. Number 24 team in the country, we got the Tennessee Volunteers. Okay, they didn't play last week. They didn't play yesterday. But we're moving them up one from unranked. I didn't like some of the teams that played, so we're moving them up one. Kentucky, I had them at 14 yesterday last week in the What If poll. And after that abysmal performance yesterday, not even getting after the quarterback, looking horrible on offense, looking horrible everywhere, getting as many penalties as you want. You can't play the game like that. Moving them down 9. I still think they're top 24 team in the country because of that rush offense. But moving them down 9, 23. Now this one may shock you guys. Notre Dame, down 15. I had them in the top 10. I had them at number 7. This is the biggest drop of the entire year from any team. And they deserve to be dropped this much, to be honest with you guys. They deserve it. 22 in the country. I still think they're top 24, but I've dropped them big time. Their offense is abysmal. Their offense is bad. Kansas State Jayhawks, you guys are kind of, hopping in and out of the top 24 here. But we're bringing you back in. We're bringing you back in as underdogs versus the UCF Knights. They smoked them, 51-22. It wasn't close. Devin Neal, shout out. Great game from you yesterday. Kansas ran all over the Knights, and they're back up in the top 24 of the What If poll. So, Jayhawks, congratulations. Up 4, Washington State Cougars. Okay, just talked about it. Bad pick by my part. Should have gone with history. I didn't go with history, I wanted to be one of those people that, go away from history and you're right. And I was wrong. So, Washington State Cougars, dropping them down 8. Now, they played a good team. UCLA's good, but I wasn't impressed from what I saw yesterday in the Cougars. That UCLA defense is for real, though. That UCLA defense is for real. So, you're dropping the Cougars down 8. Number 19, LSU Tigers, up 6. Didn't have them ranked last week in the What If poll, and I think that's wrong. I think that was incorrect placement from the LSU Tigers. And as I say every week, we like a lot of movement in the What If poll. This week has the most movement of any week so far. We like a lot of fluctuation, and that's the Tigers moving up 6 from unranked. That offense is too good not to be ranked, in my opinion. That defense still needs some work, but that offense is very good. Malik Neighbors, Jalen Daniels probably wins the Heisman if he has any semblance of a defense. The man's balling out. Duke Blue Devils didn't play, up 3, but very good team. UCLA Bruins, up 6. Had them at 23 last week. They're up to 17. They deserve it. Beat a top 25 team. You get to move up. You get to move up. Okay? And that defense, Chip Kelly, known for offense, known for running the ball, throwing the ball, getting a lot of offense, getting a lot of points. But they have one of the best defenses in all of college football. Washington State had a huge offense, great offense going into the game. They stuffed them. They made them look like a bunch of children out there. UCLA, up 6, number 17 in the What If poll. The Utah Utes didn't play, up 1, don't care, 16 in the country. Ole Miss, I'm moving them up 5. I had them at number 20 in the What If poll. I think that was a little too low. However, I believe the AP poll has them at number 12. We don't have them that high. I still think they're a little suspect. Now, they're winning games. They got a tough couple schedules coming up, tough couple games. Still not overly impressed, but I think they're top 15 team in the country. That's why they're 15 in the What If poll. All right, moving on. This one may shock you guys. I don't think it's a shocker because I don't think this team deserves to be any higher. And I almost dropped them a little lower. That's the Southern California. USC. 3 overtimes against Arizona. It's tough. It's tough sledding down there in Southern California, okay? Down 3. I had them at 11 last week. I believe the AP poll still has them in the top 10, maybe at 11, maybe at 10, if I'm not mistaken. They don't deserve to be in the top 10, okay, guys? They got Caleb Williams. They've got elite offense, but that defense doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the top 10, anywhere near the top 100, to be honest with you. And Arizona's defense made USC offense look a little suspect in the first half. They got it rolling, but I dropped them 3 for that performance. It was kind of pitiful, to be honest with you. Alabama Crimson Tide, we're moving them up. You beat a pretty solid team in A&M. A&M could probably be ranked, but I don't have them ranked. You got 2 losses. Your offense, your LSU has 2 losses, but that offense is elite. You guys really don't have an elite item, I don't think, yet. So Alabama up 3. You guys have an elite defense. That offense gets going. You're going to sneak your way into the top 10. You're going to sneak backdoor into the top 10, and you'll deserve it. Oregon State Beavers, probably the third, fourth best team in the Pac-12 right now. Them and UCLA, I think, are in the contention for it. So Oregon State Beavers up 3. Good win from you guys yesterday. Now this one right here, Louisville Cardinals. Excuse that sound right there. Louisville Cardinal. I didn't have them ranked last week, and that was a mistake. Hadn't watched the game, to be honest with you. Hadn't watched the game from the Louisville Cardinals, and I watched last night's game. They're good. They're very good. Okay, watch out for the Cardinals. ACC is looking fun this year, guys. ACC is looking fun this year. Another ACC team. You guys see the graphic. Another ACC team right there in number 10, North Carolina Tar Heels, up 3. Wow. The ACC is fun. ACC is fun. All right, let's get into the top. Let's get to 9 to 5 here, guys. 9 to 5. At number 9 in the country, we've got the Florida State Seminoles. Now, they looked good yesterday, but they're playing the Virginia Tech Hokies. Okay, they didn't cover. We're going to move them up 1 just because we had some fluctuation in the top 10. Notre Dame dropping 15 or whatever it was. So we're going to move them up 1 just because of that. Nothing they did, but moving them up. Texas Longhorns, moving them down 7. Now, OU and Texas, I still very evenly matched teams. I still think they're a very good football team, Texas Longhorns. However, you lose, you're going to drop. The top 8, 10 teams right now in the country, it's a fun year for college football, guys. Texas Longhorns, though, lost, dropping them down 7 to number 8. Oregon Ducks, Washington Huskies didn't play. They're playing this weekend. Probably going to be the game of the weekend. I may go to that Ian Fritts show, may take a trip down there for this game. But they, 7-6, going to be fun. Top 10 matchup, going to be fun to watch that one. And hopefully one of these teams separates himself, so I don't just have to start ranking them next to each other. We're going to see who's better next weekend in week 7. Okay, all right. I'm going to have to apologize here. I think Georgia might have played my video in their locker room, in their meetings this week. I was hard on them last week. And rightfully so, in my opinion, I think. But I think I gave them a little bit of motivation to do what they did to Kentucky yesterday, just absolutely stomp all over them like a bunch of little ants. Carson Beck balled out. Mike Bobo was cooking back there with the play calls. It was very impressive from Georgia Bulldogs. I'm moving them up 4. I don't have them in the top 4. I still don't think they're number 1, 2 team in the country. I have them at number 5. They deserve to be at number 5. Let's get into the top 4. You guys know the top 4 by now. Yeah, I threw it up there. It's up there. That's the top 4. We got 3 Big Ten teams. 3 teams that are going to play each other in the next few weeks. It's going to shake itself out, but right now I think these are the best 4 teams in the country. Okay, you got Penn State, great defense, balling out. You got Ohio State, great defense, balling out, great offense. I moved Ohio State down 1 because of how Michigan performed yesterday. Now I know it was against Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, but they looked incredible. Okay, that defense is a machine. It's a thing of beauty with the Michigan Wolverines defense. They're gonna beat up each other, these 3 teams, in the next few weeks. So we're gonna get it shifted out. But right now, the what if poll is telling me, the algorithm we have, which is my brain, is telling me those are the 4 best teams in the country. And number 1 team in the country, if you get the best win in all of college football, and you have a defense that plays like that, and you have a quarterback that can go win you a game, and you get the best win in all of college football, you deserve to be the number 1 team in the country. What if what we've seen is true? That's what this poll's all about. What if what we've seen from OU is true? And it is. They did it against the former number 1 in the what if poll. Number 3 team in the AP. You get the best win in all of college football, you deserve to be number 1 in the country. Up 4 from their 5 spot last week. Oklahoma Sooners, number 1 in the what if poll. And if you guys remember back there in week 2, week 1, I have OU in the national championship game right now against Washington Huskies. So we've been all over this. We've been all over the Oklahoma Sooners. Don't want to brag too much, but we've been all over OU. So OU's number 1 in the what if poll. That's the show for you guys. Week 6 preview show coming up. We got a huge game down up there in the Northwest between Washington and Oregon coming up. USC Notre Dame play this week. It's going to be a fun one. Thanks for watching the recap show. Drop in your comments, thoughts, anything that you guys want to talk about. I'll comment back to you. I'll respond. If you guys wouldn't mind, tell your friends, tell everybody you know about it. I don't care. Take their phone, watch the video on their phone, subscribe. I don't care what you do. Tell your friends, tell everybody you know. We're taking the Ian Fritts Show global. We're going big with this thing, okay, guys? Subscribe, like it, turn on that bell. Boop, boop, boop. Let's watch it. Let's go, baby. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Bye.